Good evening. Thank you for joining us on our nightly weather update. Hopefully, you're having a decent Wednesday. It is Wind Down Wednesday, but there's a lot to talk about in the forecast. All eyes right now on the tropics as we are monitoring Hurricane Francine. The latest on Hurricane Francine has those winds down to 85 miles per hour. So that's an update that has just come down the pipeline within the last 2 minutes. Keeping in mind that this storm made landfall with sustained winds of about 100 miles per hour just a couple of hours in Louisiana. We were tracking some of those maximum reported wind gusts, and we saw at least on Eugene Island that we picked up about 105 miles per hour wind gusts. We brought you some video footage of Morgan City, Louisiana, which the rain was coming down sideways as those winds were whipping around. You can see that this system is still moving pretty swiftly to the northeast at about 17 miles per hour. And this is going to be something that we're watching over the course of the next couple of days because that's going to bring rain chances, increased rain chances our way. You can see that there's a lot of deep convection near the center of circulation, heavy downpours moving through southeastern Louisiana with lighter showers that are stretching far out to the east. And I'll show you that some of that rain is already moving into portions of North Georgia. I do want to make sure that I give you the latest on that updated track, and we continue to expect this system to weaken as we head through the overnight hours and into the start of the day tomorrow, becoming a tropical storm at some point tonight and then dissipating as it lifts northward. And even though it dissipates, it's still going to be packing some rain. It's going to have that deep tropical moisture with it. So we're talking about rain opportunities that are going to be with us as we head through the next couple of days, beginning tonight. It's lighter showers out there right now. You can see for the most part, we're dealing with lighter greens, a little bit more steady rain to the south of Griffin, south of Eatonton, but otherwise, this rain, for the most part, is really light in nature and will be that way through the next few hours. But here's what you can expect as we head through the next couple of days. On and off showers tomorrow with some gusty winds. I do believe that tomorrow will probably be the driest of the three first alert weather days just because it looks like the rain is rather light and it comes in waves with a lot of dry time in between. But it's going to be cloudy and it's going to be gloomy, so don't expect for there to be, gorgeousness in the middle of the day. Just a heads up, it isn't going to be too overwhelming out there tomorrow, but because we are going to be dealing with this system, it is a first alert. Some showers, some gusty winds through the day tomorrow. And then heavier downpours are going to be likely on Friday. And we're going to be watching also Friday because there's going to be the potential for there to be some severe weather in the sense that some of these cells could start to rotate. And this is something that is not atypical with landfalling tropical systems. We get hurricanes that make landfall, tropical storms that make landfall, and as they move inland, we're watching that right side of the system, that right front quadrant, but in particularly the whole right side, because typically that's where we get the best chances of seeing there be tornado genesis. So something that we're going to be watching, some spin-ups, not completely out of the question Friday, especially the second half of Friday into the evening. That looks to be the time where that energy could be highest. But some of this rain is going to stick around, unfortunately, into the start of your Saturday. So, unfortunately, rain opportunities are going to be with us the next couple of days. Something that we are noticing right now is that temperatures are a little bit cooler. That's not crazy to think about. We got clouds. We have an east breeze that's roughly 10 to 15 miles per hour. So that's helping keep those numbers a little bit cooler than they were yesterday. Most of us are somewhere in the low 70s, but where the clouds have been a little bit thicker, like down in Griffin and Thomaston and down in LaGrange, temperatures have already fallen into the 60s in those areas. So something that will continue to be our trend through the evening. All of us trend a little bit cooler. The clouds thicken up, and we're going to keep a 30% chance of some spotty showers through the night. Isolated showers, once again, pretty much light to, I would say, semi-steady at times the further south you are. Heading into the day tomorrow, we are watching for that chance for a rogue spin up, and you can see it's very south, very south and west of Atlanta, but also including portions of eastern Alabama. That's where we have the best chance of getting some of these spin ups. Here's how we get through the day. You can see spotty showers, very isolated in the morning. Once again, these are going to be the outer rain bands. So admittedly, the models typically have a little bit of trouble with the placement, but we do know that we're going to be on that side where we'll get this coming in waves. I mentioned that I expect there to be some dry time in between those rounds. What has been pretty consistent is that the potential for the heavier downpours to start to build into the area looks greater late day. So probably after sunset is where we can see some of the heavier downpours, which means that we'll be tracking that through the overnight and into the start of the day on Friday. The National Weather Service has already issued a wind advisory for our northwesternmost communities. That's going to include folks that are in Chattooga and Floyd counties, as well as Bartow and Cherokee counties, Gordon, Gilmer, and Fannin. So something that we will be watching, as the guidance is hinting that those winds could gust roughly 30 to 35 miles per hour for most of us. But in those areas where that wind advisory is, we could see those winds gust as high as 40, 45. And that's going to be the greatest chance north and west, in extreme northwest Georgia. Another day where we're dealing with clouds, another day where we're dealing with showers. Not a big coincidence that we're talking about temperatures being a little bit cooler again. Low to mid 70s across most of the region for afternoon highs because of all of this. And then that first alert weather day extended into Friday as we're talking about more rain. And I mentioned earlier that we thought that we could see some heavier rounds of rain heading into Friday. And you can see that there are more yellows, there are more reds with this wave of energy as we head through Friday. Another day where it's not a complete washout. There's going to be some dry time. But whenever the rain does move back in, the rain could be moderate to heavy at times, especially later in the day. If you have plans Friday night, it does appear that we're going to have some heavier downpours that will be in the vicinity during the evening hours. I know a lot of kids, the football games, it's Friday night, we're trying to get out into the streets, yada, yada, yada. Have the First Alert Weather app because we'll tell you where those showers are in relation to your location. Not to mention, if any of these thunderstorms get a little bit more robust, you'll find that information out as well. This continues into the start of your Saturday. So everybody that was getting up, maybe going, participate in a 5 or a 10K, train for a 5 or a 10K, or maybe you're just going to the farmer's market. It's looking a little damp to start the day. I was talking to Joy Lim Nacker, and if you guys follow her on social media, you know she's all about her horses. She has a bunch of them, and I was telling her, listen, the horses are going to want to take a chill pill this weekend because it's going to be a little bit muddy. Even whenever there's dry time embedded in between, you're not going to really see a whole lot of sunshine, so that it's going to stay damp. It's going to be wet, so just don't expect to be able to go and lay out a blanket at Piedmont Park and have a picnic, okay? It's going to be real hit or miss with the rain. And we're talking about 1 to 2 inches of widespread rain being possible through Saturday, but I do think that there will be some areas where we get a little bit of training of some of these cells, so we will get higher localized rainfall totals, upwards of 3 inches in some spots. So there is the low end potential that we could run into some flooding, but I think that for the most part, this is going to be beneficial for us for a lot of reasons. We have most of the state that's at least abnormally dry as far as our region. I think it's extreme West Georgia, where we do have some folks that are in a moderate drought. Not to mention, y'all are all trying to wear your hoodies and sweatpants and you're ready for hoodie season. And what comes along with hoodie season is the changing of the leaves. And in order for us to get really, really pretty fall colors, we need to get, we need some rain right now, so, to propel that. So welcome the rain for sure. But of course, with multiple rounds of it, we could be watching some areas for a little bit of a runoff issue. Right now, that risk is on the lower end, but it's non-zero. So this is just things that we're going to be monitoring through the next couple of days. 7-day forecast. All of these rain opportunities, all this cloud cover, it's going to be cooler than normal. We should be like 86 degrees right now this time of year. We're going to be roughly 10 degrees cooler than that the next couple of days because of all of this. And if you were trying to hold off to get out and about to do stuff on Sunday, it looks like Sunday's going to be a little bit wet too. Rain chances lingering into Sunday. That's why we told y'all to get out last weekend, because last weekend was dope, right? Other than that, we start to lower the rain chances as we head to work on Monday, and we see breaks in the clouds, and that'll allow temperatures to get back into the lower 80s. Not a terrible start to next week. We just have to get through the next few days, which are going to be cloudy and a little gloomy. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not mad about it. Y'all know that I'm from Louisiana, so low cloud, low rain, I'm good. So, but of course, stay weather aware as we head, especially into tomorrow evening, because we're going to be watching for some of that energy that is potentially going to be with us. I wanted to zoom out a little bit. I know that we haven't been able to get into this in our newscast because we've been kind of spending most of our time talking about Francine, the updates to Francine, and the local impacts. But there's other stuff going on out there in the Atlantic Basin as well. Keeping in mind, we are technically right smack dab at the peak of hurricane season. Like right now is the peak. And we are watching Tropical Depression 7, which has formed. It formed earlier. It is moving to the northwest at about 18 miles per hour. Winds are sustained at 35. So we'll watch it. Guidance is saying that there's some chance that we could get some intensification of that over the course of the next couple of days. But there are 3 other areas of opportunity that we are monitoring in the Atlantic Basin. Right off of the coast of the Carolinas, there is what is expected to be an area of low pressure that will develop. It isn't there yet, but it is expected to develop over the course of the next day or so. And some slow, gradual development, change to tropical characteristics could happen, because that low would not be a tropical low. We're not going to nerd out and have that moment right now, because, you know, tropical versus non-tropical lows it's a moment. But we do have about a 30% chance that this could transition to a tropical low and become a depression over the course of the next week. That's about a 30% chance. What's going on, LaShawn Brinkley? Welcome to the stream. For everyone that's joining us at home, we're also streaming this on YouTube, so I can read the comments and we can interact and have a little bit of a conversation right here, and I appreciate that. Also, 2 other tropical waves. One of them is looking real sketchy. The one that's approaching the Leeward and Windward Islands only has about a 10% chance of development, but there is a low that's just to the east of that, and that one's looking a little bit more organized. There's a little bit more storm activity associated with it, and there's about a 30% chance that that could be a depression over the course of the next week. So we're going to keep an eye on all of these things. You know, we have the whole basin to watch. We also have our local weather to watch. Obviously, I'm watching the hurricane in Louisiana very closely, because, you know, it's my old stomping grounds. That's home. But we'll keep you posted on the weather that's happening there, but also what we're expecting here. Once again, if you didn't catch our 7 o'clock stream and you are on this app, you can actually go to previous newscasts and check out the 7 o'clock show, because there's some pretty good imagery from Morgan City. We actually had a reporter that was live there showing you guys the impacts that they're receiving there. And it's at the beginning of the show, so you don't even have to watch far. Just go to previous newscast, 7 p.m., hit play, you know, watch the little 10-second commercial, and then we'll take you straight into the Morgan City shot. It's pretty intense. But also, we also showed you a view of Lake Pontchartrain, which is several miles away. It's not even close, but they were also getting whiplash with wind, and you can see how choppy the waters were. Anyways, I always say that I'm going to keep you for a good time, not a long time. It's 12 minutes and 32 seconds. I think that I've taken up enough of your Wednesday. If you came into the stream looking for a recommendation for Wind Down Wednesday, it's cloudy, it's dark, it's breezy. So I'm going to go with a red Zinfandel, okay? If you pulled out some, was it pink or white Zinfandel? If you pull that out, no, it has to be a red Zinfandel. It will change your life. Nice little note of spice to it. Keeps you a little warm, but not like, you know, you need to be in the wintertime. Trust the process. Try the wine. Have a fantastic Wednesday. Meteorologist Fred Campagna and myself will be diving through these model runs, just like we had an update at 8 o'clock on Francine. We'll have one at 9 and one at 10. We'll break that down for you on Peachtree TV at 10. And Fred's going to have a last look at 11 before you go to sleep. And also, he's going to have the most updated hour-by-hour planner for tomorrow that comes in at around 10-ish, 10:15. He'll be breaking that down for you at 11. So you guys have a fantastic Wednesday. Show us some love and like, subscribe, follow, all of that other stuff that the rest of the YouTubers say. And we'll do this again tomorrow at 8. I'll throw this 7-day forecast up so that you guys can plan ahead and deal with the messiness of these rain chances the next couple of days. We do think that this is going to be pretty much like a low to moderate impact stretch of weather. I think it could be moderate tomorrow evening. It could be moderate Friday evening for everyone that has plans to get out and about. But other than that, we trend on the better side of this heading into next week. Peace out.